Okay, welcome back. So we're looking at the aftermath of that first ground test. Here we can see that it broke the motor mount tube in a couple pieces here. So we're just going to go through and do a post-analysis of the damage. There was some fraying on the shock cord, so I think when we rebuild this, we'll give it a heavier shock cord. We can see some charring all the way through where the baffle is to the outside of the motor mount tube, so that's a little concerning for sure. I think we'll do more testing with the baffles in the future, but for the next build, maybe we just replace that with a little bit of dog barf wadding. And you can notice on the table here, there's starting to be a fair amount of burnt particulate from that ejection also. So overall, it looks like the motor mount tube was sort of strangled with the shock cord and the parachute, so we'll just have to be more mindful with how we pack it in the future. So now we're going to go through and we're going to drill the pilot holes for the retention screws for the nose cone. Since it's not going to come off during ejection, we want to make sure that's firmly attached. Once we get those pilot holes in there, we want to sort of go ahead and use the screw to tap the threads in. Then we'll come back around and reinforce each of those holes with some CA glue just to firm them up. Now we're going to go back and basically rebuild the motor mount very similar to how we did the first time. We'll glue the engine retainer on here, and then we'll put the first thrust plate ring right behind that. Just making sure we have the right offsets for the different size parachutes here. Then we'll go ahead and start to glue those centering rings in place and then give them a minute to set and dry after we check and make sure they're all lined up. Then we're going to come back and add the shock cord to the motor mount tube for its independent parachute. And then once we have that in place, we're going to go back and put a little bit of glue just to hold it there and keep those knots nice and secure. Now, I was concerned with how the parachute was deployed off the back end, so I made these little conical ramps and had a debate with myself, and I thought maybe the risk of camming the parachute into the inner body tube outweighed the benefit of that. So we're just going to stick with a flat centering ring and see how it works in the next ground test. So then we're going to measure out several more body lengths of a thicker Kevlar shock cord there. We're going to anchor it to the eye bolt that we can reach in the fore end of the rocket and then pass it through the bulkhead plate and pull it out through the bottom of the rocket there. So I'm going to add a dynamic element to the recovery system just to soften some of those blows here, as you'll see, and then we'll go ahead and secure the parachute VO swivel to the shock cord. And as you can see, having the forward-facing eye bolt on the bulkhead did pay off, since we did end up having to switch out some of the recovery systems. So now we're just going to re-anchor the nose cone in place. And then we're going to add some cosmetic sort of fake rivet heads here, just for that industrial look. These will match, are lined up with the screws to retain the nose cone. And that'll take us into the second ground test, which went a lot smoother and a very noticeable lower amount of energy in the ejection charge on this motor. So thanks for watching. Please come back for finished paint and flight videos.